40 perfect go-to jokes, according to Reddit. You should know, I'm not gonna laugh if this shit ain't funny to me. Maybe it'll be funny to you, me getting frustrated. Number 40. Alcohol may not be the answer, but it's definitely worth a shot. Number 39. This is a gross one my best friend's dad used to tell us. 3 men are on a hunting trip in the woods, and after a successful day, they brought a buck back to their camp to field dress. They then proceed to get drunk and are having an all-around good time. One of the hunters announces that he has to take a shit, so he shuffles off into the woods for some privacy. Some time goes by, and after the other two start to wonder why he's taking so long, they start looking for him in the woods, and lo and behold, he is found sitting with his pants around his ankles on a log, his bare ass hanging off the side, totally passed out from drinking so much. Rather than wake their friend, they decided to play a joke on him. They left and returned with a bucket of the guts from the buck that they shot. They dump the guts under their friend's bare ass and leave. The next morning they awake to their friend walking stiffly out of the woods. They snicker and ask what happened to him and if he had a good shit. He responds, "Well, I passed out mid-shit, and when I woke up I realized I had shit all of my guts out. But by the grace of God and the help of a big stick, I got it all back in." Number 38. What's Whitney Houston's favorite type of coordination? Hand-eye. Here's the real joke, guys. Here's the real joke. Hand-eye coordination. Here's the real joke. That some people listening to this are going to be so young that they A, won't know who Whitney Houston is, and B, therefore, will not know her popular hit, "And I Will Always Love You." You know what I mean? What movie was that in? The Bodyguard? Or was it in some other movie too? What am I thinking of? I don't know. I don't care. The real joke is that you're aging. What's that joke by Grandpa Simpson? He says, "I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was. Now what I'm with isn't it, and what's it seems weird and scary to me, and it'll happen to you." I'm trying so hard not to be a fuddy-duddy. Number 37. Jesus, I had this question at the end of a job interview. Here's the joke I told. I got the job. And for clarity, what he's saying I got this question was, somebody says, if someone asks you to tell a joke, what's your go-to joke? That's the Ask Reddit inquiry here. And I phrased it, I've packaged this as go-to jokes, whatever. The guy says, 2 engineer students were walking across campus when one said, "Where did you get such a great bike?" The second engineer replied, "Well, I was walking along yesterday minding my own business when a beautiful woman rode up on this bike. She threw the bike to the ground, took off all her clothes and says, 'Take what you want.'" The first engineer nodded approvingly. Good choice. The clothes probably wouldn't have fit. What does this imply? That engineers are just like all about what's practical, or don't have time for women or something? Somebody said it took me a really fucking long time to realize that the person was not speaking to Jesus about his job interview. I would find this person funny if it weren't so shocking. Number 36. A bear is chasing a squirrel through the woods. Chasing, Kyle? Shut up. A bear is chasing a squirrel through the woods, and they cross a river when all of a sudden, the river genie appears. The genie: "Well, shit. 2 customers. I don't know who triggered this whole thing, so let me give you 3 wishes. Bear, you start, since you're bigger." The bear thinks for a moment. He smiles. "Okay. I want all of the other bears in this forest to be females." The genie grants the wish, turns to the squirrel. The squirrel thinks. He looks up at the genie.
"I want a motorcycle."
The bear shakes his head. "Squirrel, you don't know how to wish." Genie then asks the bear for his second wish. Bear responds, "All right, I want all the other bears in the country to be females." Genie grants the wish. Genie turns to the squirrel. "How about it?" Squirrel responds,
Give me a motorcycle helmet.
Bear shakes his head again. What's wrong with you? Genie then turns once more to the bear and asks him for his final wish. You know what? I want all the other bears in the world to be female. Genie grants the wish, then turns to the squirrel. Squirrel grabs his helmet, puts it on. He walks to the motorcycle, gets on it, he starts it, runs the engine a little. As he rides away, not looking back, he yells,
I want that bear to be gay.
Ooh. Ooh, that's fucked up. Oh, that squirrel. Squirrel making it so that this other bear can't get a nut. You know what I'm talking about? That's not funny, but neither was this joke. I don't give a fuck. Number 35. My friend has a one-armed waiter. Serves him right. Number 34. I bought my friend an elephant for his room. He said, thanks. I said, don't mention it. Get it? The elephant in the room? You don't? Number 33, man. What did the bra say to the hat? You go on ahead. I'll give these two a lift. Get it? The hat goes on ahead. You go on ahead. I'll give these two a lift. Number 32, man. This is one of my grandpa's. There are these two beautiful marble statues on either side of a big open plaza. For centuries, they stood frozen, staring longingly into each other's eyes. Starring? One day, the gods look down upon them with pity and decide to grant them 1 hour of mortal life. The statues, overwhelmed with joy, rush across the square and into each other's arms and immediately run off into a bush to fulfill their greatest desire. After about half an hour of rustling around in the bushes, they emerge, panting and sweaty. Wow, says one of the statues, that was amazing. A dream come true, says the other. But we've got half an hour left. What do we do now? I know, the first one responds. This time I'll hold the pigeon down while you shit on it. Oh, that's funny, because the statues have been getting shit on their entire life, so the implication is that they go into the bushes and take turns holding down pigeons to shit on them, because that's revenge for you, boy. What is happening in here? These better get amazing as we go to the top. 31 has been deleted. Reddit itself coming through with a joke of its own. That's the true joke indeed, is that Reddit will always rob you of one of its entries, baby. What the fuck? Oh my god. Number 30. It's a music joke. A, C, and E flat and a G walk into a bar. The bartender looks at them and says, sorry, I don't serve minors. The C turns to E flat and says, I told you to act natural. I'm shaking my head. You can't see it, but come on, man. Number 29 here. God damn, it's a long joke. There are 3 flies in a jar. 1 male, 2 female. One day, one of the female flies decides she wants to get out of the jar. She goes up to the other female and fly and says, how do you get out of the jar? The other female fly says, I don't know, maybe ask him. So the female fly goes up to the male fly and says, hey, how do you get out of this jar? The male fly says, I can tell you, but you have to fuck me first. And flies, they aren't very smart. So they do it, and the male fly tells the female fly, you start from the bottom of the jar and fly as fast as you can to the top of the jar, and boom, you'll pop right out. So the female fly does just that. Flies from the bottom of the jar to the top of the jar as fast as she can, splat, dies. Later on, the surviving female fly decides she wants to get out of the jar. So she comes up to the male fly and asks, hey, how do you get out of the jar? The male fly says, I can tell you, but you have to fuck me first. And flies, they aren't very smart, so they do it. And the male fly tells the female fly, you start from the bottom of the jar and fly as fast as you can up to the top of the jar and boom, you'll pop right out. So the female fly does just that, flies from the bottom of the jar to the top of the jar as fast as she can, splat, dies. Then the male fly gets out of the jar. I stop talking then. The people I'm telling the joke would say, how did he get out of the jar? And I say, I can tell you, but you have to fuck me first. Yes, this is a joke. Okay, finally, dude. Awesome, dude, awesome. And because it's got, no, look, here's what's really funny to me is that it carries the implication that like I'll then instruct them to kill themselves after I'm done fucking them because they've exhausted their use, which is like a really like a layered joke. It's really rude and, you know, it's kind of, come on, it's rude. It's rude. It's crass. Oh, geez. I like the joke. I didn't expect to like a joke, especially not this deep on the list, but here we are. Woo, I enjoyed that one. Number 28. A grasshopper walks into a bar. The bartender says, hey, we have a drink named after you. The grasshopper says, you have a drink named Steve? Fuck off. Number 27. Two dogs got lost in the desert. One of the dogs says to the other, if we don't find a palm tree soon, I'm going to pee my pants, said the dog wearing pants in the desert. When I was 4, I heard this joke on the radio. I thought it was the funniest joke ever, except I didn't get it. I just thought that the notion of a dog might pee himself was hilarious. I told the joke to people for years. Years later, I was working in a shop and a radio reporter walked in and challenged my colleague to tell him a joke. And then he'd give her $50. She palmed him off to me, and I got to release my joke into the wild. Easiest $50 I ever earned. Did I just not deliver it hilarious? I don't know. It's a stupid joke, dude. It's just stupid jokes. At least be witty. At least have some wordplay in there. I mean, I hate puns as much as the next guy, but like if you do it just right and you groaner, you hit me with a groaner, I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? I'll be smiling in a way. Two dogs get lost in the desert. One dog says to the other, if we don't find a palm tree soon, I'm gonna pee my pants. I'm gonna pee my pants. It's not funny. You go watch the fucking Big Bang Theory, you cuck. This shit ain't cool. Jesus Christ. Oh, I think that's so funny. Some other guy gave him $50. Ain't nobody giving me $50. Well, actually, some people are supporters. Kyle would like to take a chance to thank his sexy patrons. I love you guys, always and forever. I caress you with my cursor. You guys are the shit. As we move along, number 26, a guy gets off work and he's had a fairly bad day, so he decides to go for a few drinks. Anyway, he heads up to the bar that's in a penthouse of a fairly nice apartment tower. So he heads in, has a few drinks when a guy comes up to him. The man says, you're not going to believe this, but the wind is just right today. You can jump out the window, and right before you hit the ground, the wind current will bring you right back in. Well, clearly the guy doesn't believe him, so he says, bullshit, that's impossible. You do it then. So the second man says, fuck it. He jumps out the window, and right before he's about to hit the ground, sure enough, he flies back up and into the bar. The man is amazed, and the second man says, see, I wouldn't lie to you. Try it. The first man is still a little on edge, so he says to the second man, once more, and I'll try it. So like before, he jumps out, gets close to the ground, and is flown back up into the bar. Well, the first man is quite impressed. He says, all right, I believe you. It's my turn now. So the man stands at the window, jumps off the ledge, and gets close to the bottom and splat. The bartender looks at the second man and says, Superman, you're a jerk when you're drunk. Come on now. Come on now. The wind is just right. Come on now. Ooh, I feel like I've heard this one before, but it's escaped my memory in just the right time for me to enjoy this bullshit ass joke again. Yeah, you're a jerk when you're drunk, Superman. Somebody said until the last word. Yeah, it would be better if I don't know. Number 25. What do you call a sleepwalking nun? A Roman Catholic. Get it? Roman, like roaming, but Roman. Oh, bye. Number 24. What did the green grape say to the purple grape? Breathe, you idiot. Oh, charming. If a girl told me that joke, I'd be like, not bad. I'd give her a pat on the back. Number 23. I told my girlfriend she drew her eyebrows on too high. She looked surprised. These are not fucking funny. And I want to call Stripes, but I feel like she's just going to be as upset. So let's see what really goes down. Hey, Stripes.
Yes?
I'm reading this list about jokes that you were supposed to be a part of. Because, you know, you're supposed to be a part of the non-serious lists. But boy, are they just like, you know what I mean? Normally, I'm not pleased in a way with a lot of the jokes. But these are genuinely frustrating. Not in a capacity where I don't want to upload the video, but it's just like, I didn't know ahead of time, subscribers. So, you know, what am I supposed to do? I genuinely want to find shit that's funny. But here we go. We're going up the list, okay? You ready?
How many have you done already?
A couple. Number 22. All right, you ready? The other day, my wife asked me to pass her lipstick, but I accidentally passed her a glue stick. She still isn't talking to me. I'm like shaking my head after all of these now. You know what I mean? Jeez.
Maybe they'll get better.
Mickey and Minnie Mouse went in to see a marriage counselor. Is this your fucking goofy one?
Yep. Yes, it is.
I never said she was crazy. I said she was fucking goofy. Moving on, guys. Number 20. Mother Superior is in the Covenant. And when she hears a knock at the door, she opens the door and is shocked to see two leprechauns standing at the threshold, hats in hand. The first leprechaun says, Mother Superior, would you be having any leprechaun nuns in this covenant? No, my son, we have no leprechaun nuns in this covenant. And Mother, do you have any leprechaun nuns in all of Ireland? No, my son, I don't have a single leprechaun nun in the whole church. The first leprechaun rounds on his companion and shouts, I told ye you'd be fucking a penguin.
What?
I told you you'd be fucking a penguin.
I don't get the punchline.
Oh, okay. If a leprechaun were to dress up like a nun,
because he's small and
it would look kind of like a penguin. But you know, the leprechaun probably fucked a penguin and then convinced himself it was another leprechaun in a penguin. I mean, in a nun outfit. That's a silly joke, man. That's pretty silly. That's pretty silly.
That one's okay.
Damn, this is a long one right here. 19. 3 men are walking through the forest on the way back home. Oh, God, this is a long one. One of them picks up a genie lamp, and out pops a genie. It booms and says, you have finally freed me for all these years, so I'll grant you 3 wishes. The first guy immediately blurts out, I want $1 billion, poof. Holding a printout, he shows his account balance is now $1 billion. The second man thinks for a bit, and he says, I want to be the richest man alive, poof. He's holding paper showing that his net worth is well over $100 billion. The third guy even longer thinks, and then says, I want my left arm to rotate clockwise for the rest of my life. Not bad. Yeah, that's pretty fucking retarded, man. I want my left arm to rotate clockwise for the rest of my life. The genie tells him it's time for their second wish. I'm gonna fart. What the fuck? The genie tells him that it's time for their second wish. The first guy says, I want to be married to the most beautiful woman in the world. So poof, a stunning lady wraps herself around his arms. The second guy says, I want a good looking and charismatic so I can have every girl I want. Oh, he wants to be good looking and charismatic so he can have every girl he wants. Poof, his look changes. The first guy's wife. His look changes and the first guy's wife immediately starts flirting with him. The third guy says, I want my right arm. It's good. It's a good joke. It's a good joke, dude. Because you're just like, what the fuck is this with his arms? I want my right arm to rotate counterclockwise until I die. Poof. Now both his arms are rotating in opposite directions. It's like The Simpsons when Bart and Lisa are fighting.
I know.
I'm so sorry. I hate that as soon as I called you, we reached one where it's really getting me straight.
It's not funny. It's just stupid. You're laughing. It's not funny.
I can really picture certain things really well in my head, and it's just so stupid. It's a fucking genie. He can grant you any wish, and you're like, I want my arms to rotate. Look, I'm sorry. The genie tells them to think carefully about their third wish. The first guy does and says, after a while, I never want to become sick or injured. I want to stay healthy until I die. Poof. His complexion improves, his acne is gone, and his knees don't bother him anymore. The second guy says, I never want to grow old. I want to stay 29 forever. Poof, he looks younger already. The third guy smiles triumphantly and says, my last wish is for my head to nod back and forth. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
You're better than
Why
this,
can't you
Kaya.
picture it those stripes? Why
You're
can't you
better than
picture
this,
a man? Picture a man with his arms fucking.
I'm seeing it, and it's not making me lose my shit like you.
And his
Pack
head,
it in.
and his head is
Pack
nodding
it
back
in.
and forth. You gotta see it. You have to see it in your mind, Stripes. I'm sorry. You have to see it, Stripes. You can't see this picture in your mind and not find it ridiculous. Okay?
I did. It's stupid.
My last wish is for my head to nod back and forth. Poof. He's now nodding his head and still flailing his arms around. The genie wishes them good luck, disappears, and the men soon go their separate ways. Many years later, they meet again and chat about how things have been going. The first guy is ecstatic. He says, I've invested the money and multiplied it many times over. So me and my family will be among the richest and be rich pretty much forever. My wife is a freak in the sheets, and I've never gotten so much as a cold all these years. The second guy smiles and says, well, I built charities worldwide, and the fraction of my wealth, I'm still the richest guy alive and also revered for my good deeds. I haven't aged a day since last we met, and yes, your wife is pretty wild in bed. Oh, God. The third guy walks in flailing his arms around and nodding his head and says, guys, I think I fucked up. What a stupid joke. Somebody said, I found that this joke has like a 25% hit ratio. That's like a 1 in fucking 4. But I was laughing, but I mean, the end of the joke I don't care for, you know what I mean? But in the midst of it, just trying to figure out what the hell is going through this, like, you know what I mean? Oh my God.
Is the punchline that there is no punchline and there's no like twist or anything? It's just him making a stupid wish.
What do you mean?
Is that where you're supposed to laugh? Is that there was no twist? Because usually these jokes have like some kind of bait and switch, but this one didn't. It was just stupid.
Yeah, that's the comedy. That's the comedy. You know, not like, again, I don't care for the end. It's just in the midst of it, you're just like, what the fuck do you mean he want his arm to spin counterclockwise? It got me, Stripes, you know what I mean? Even if it was, I feel like Francine in American Dad because like she's laughing before the punchline even comes, but fuck me. Oh my God. Just because people dream about this, you know what I mean? If and to be honest, everybody has their shit mirrored in here. Like if you could have any wish, some people would wish to be attractive because that's like winning the lottery in life as far as, you know, being super charming or charismatic or whatever people want so that you can kind of pretty much manipulate your way into whatever you'd like. People would wish for wealth because that's what opens doors and allows them to pursue whatever the hell they want to do. And this guy, given the opportunity to ask for anything, asked for his arms to rotate counterclockwise and clockwise stripes. Number 17. My all-time favorite joke I always tell new coworkers. He learned it from 28 Days Later. I love that movie. A man walks into a bar with a giraffe. Both of them, they both get pissed. The giraffe falls over. Pissed as in drunk, Stripes. The man goes to leave and the bartender says, "Oi, you can't leave that lying here." And the man says, "No, it's not a lion. It's a giraffe." Get it? You can't leave that lion here?
Lying. As in laying around. Okay.
There's a song on 28 Days Later called "In a Heartbeat," and I really like that song.
And that song has a joke in it? Like that?
No, there's no jokes in the song. It's just a song that I like. Not everything's a joke. Alright, Stripes. Can't believe I lost my composure so hard in front of you. Should never have had anything to do with you today. No.
I guess I'll go then.
Oh my God. Turn it. You can play victim all you want. Like, please keep the jokes to the list, Stripes. Ugh. Anyway, number 16, a guy goes to the doctor about a rash he's had for a while. The doctor finally enters the room and takes a look at the guy and says, "Well, sir, I'm going to have to advise you to stop masturbating." "Why is that, doc?" the guy asks, and the doctor said, "So I can examine you." Number 15, and the Lord said to John, "Come forth and receive the Holy Spirit." And John came in fifth and won a toaster.
Is Holy Spirit a toaster brand?
Oh no, it's like no. Do you get the joke?
No.
Seriously, are you playing with me?
I don't get it.
The phrase "come forth" is like a thing meaning come towards me or come into my presence. But the joke is a play on words, come forth as in forth, first, second, third, fourth. John came fifth, so we won a toaster. Okay?
Alright. I get it now.
And Judas approached the rabbis and Pharisees and said, "The one whom I kiss is the one you seek." To which they responded, "Gay." I like that one. Bible jokes. Number 14, one day God decides to change the rules to get into heaven. He approaches St. Peter and says, "From now on, the only way to get into heaven is for someone to die in an interesting way. I'll leave it to you to figure out what fits." "Okay, got it," says St. Peter. The first day the new policy is set into place, St. Peter explains the rule to the first guy who begins to tell his tale. "St. Peter, I'm a devoted husband. I love my wife, but I could have been more attentive. One day I decided to surprise her at home early with some flowers. I walked into the bedroom to find her naked, the sheets a mess, and a look of surprise on her face. Intrigued, St. Peter asked him to continue, so I go nuts. I start breaking things, yelling, crying, demanding to know where the man is. I suddenly find him. He's holed up on the edge of our 6th-floor apartment balcony. I go over, shouting at him and stomping on his fingers. He pleads with me and yells back, but he falls all the way down. But he lands in some hedge bushes and lives. Well, I'm so upset and enraged, I go to the kitchen. I lift the refrigerator up and throw it over the balcony. The fridge lands on him and kills him. The rush was too much for my heart. I have a heart attack and die. St. Peter, surprised at the story, saw no problem at letting the man in heaven. As the day goes on, St. Peter hears more stories, some good, some bad. Then quite unexpectedly, he hears one that catches his attention. "Well, Sir Peter, I work out a lot, and I take fitness seriously. One day I'm running on a treadmill in my apartment. I work up a good sweat and felt pretty good. Suddenly my treadmill starts speeding up, Panicked, I slipped, tumbled backwards over my balcony. By the grace of God, I managed to grab onto the balcony beneath me. Then out of nowhere, this fat asshole starts screaming at me, stamping on my fingers and calling me all sorts of names. I lose my grip and fall all the way down to the ground. By some great fortune, I live. Then a goddamn refrigerator falls on me. St. Peter, mouth agape at the incredible coincidence, decides the man has earned his entry and lets him on his way. The day winds down and St. Peter sees the last of those eager to enter the pearly gates. Just as he's about to shut down for the day, one last soul arrives. After a quick explanation of the new policy, the man gets a big wide grin on his face. Okay, St. Peter, are you ready for this? I'm naked, right? And I'm hiding in a refrigerator. Oh God.
Okay.
Well, he was the wife fucker.
He was the other guy.
He was the wife fucker. The dude on the balcony was just some fitness nut that got caught up in all of the hoobly hoobles. Number 13, knock knock, who's there? Dishes. Dishes who? Dishes Sean Connery. I used to say that one all the time. Well, people don't know who Sean Connery is, man. Not anymore. Sean, tell me who Sean Connery was, Stripes.
He sounds familiar, but I don't see a face with that name.
Do you know anything that he used to do that made him popular?
Was he a musician?
You heard it here, folks. Was Sean Connery a musician? Maybe. He was a James Bond, Stripes, but people don't know these days. Yeah, you wouldn't know that, you know? Oh boy. Number 12. So there's two blue whales drinking at a bar. The first turns to the second and says, now you make the whale noises as awkward and as cringeworthy as possible until everyone in the room is clearly a little bit uncomfortable with how long this has gone on. To which the second whale turns to the first and says, Frank, go home, you're drunk. Haha.
It's a whale bar then?
Somebody said the absolute most important part of this joke is to take a massive breath before the second whale speaks, like you're about to go off on it again. Somebody said this is the part I actually laughed at. Look, man, this list is just turning into like how to embarrass yourself in social in situations. Number 11. What did the cannibal do after he dumped his girlfriend? He wiped his ass. Ew.
Oh.
Ew. That relationship went to shit.
I like that one. How many are left? I feel like I'm dying.
A cannibal's cellmate went missing, and he told the warden that he ate him. The warden didn't believe him, so the cannibal finally threw up his hands out of frustration. Somebody else is like, what the fuck is this site? Number 10. Dave was bragging to his boss one day. You know, I know everyone there is to know. Oh, I know everyone there is to know. Just name someone, anyone, and I know them. Tired of his boasting, his boss called his bluff. Okay, Dave, how about Tom Cruise? No dramas, boss. Tom and I are old friends, and I can prove it. So Dave and his boss fly out to Hawaii and knock on Tom Cruise's door, and Tom Cruise shouts, Dave, what's happening? Great to see you. Come on in for a beer. Although impressed, Dave's boss is still skeptical. After they leave Cruise's house, he tells Dave that he thinks him knowing Cruise was just lucky. No, just name anyone else, Dave says. President Obama. His boss quickly reports, Yup. Let's just go down Pope Francis. So they fly to Rome. Okay, tell you what. Guards upstairs to the balcony. Okay, tell you what. I know all the guards, so let me go upstairs and I'll come out on the balcony with the Pope. He disappears into the crowd, headed towards the Vatican. Sure enough, half an hour later, Dave emerges with the Pope on the balcony, but by the time Dave returns, he finds that his boss has had a heart attack and is surrounded by paramedics. Making his way to his boss's side, Dave asks him what happened. His boss looks up and says, it was the final straw. You and the Pope came out on the balcony, and the man next to me said, who the fuck is that on the balcony with Dave? Stripes laughed. You heard her. I really like Stripes' cough laugh. Like she was like, "What the fuck is this story?" It was such like a baby laugh. That was cute. Oh man, she got a cough laugh. I really want to go back into the. That was so stupid. Who's that up on the balcony with Dave? It's the Pope. Somebody said this is my favorite joke. I always crack up laughing at the last line. What the fuck? Oh man! And then the dude had a heart attack.
See, they do get better. I'm really curious to see what the first jokes were at the bottom. They must have been awful. I'm really curious to know what the first jokes at the bottom were. They must have been awful.
There was only one that was relatively good. I'll read it to you after the list so that I don't repeat it for everybody listening's sake. Okay. Number 9. A sailor sits down at the bar and orders a drink. He looks to his left and there's a pirate with a peg leg, hook hand, and an eye patch. The sailor asks how he lost his leg. A gator ripped off the leg while burying gold in Florida. He asks next how he lost his hand. A shark bit me hand off while I was throwing the gator into the sea. Amazed at the pirate's bravery, he asked the man how he lost his eye. A seagull shit in me eye. The sailor was shocked and asked, "A bird shit in your eye and you lost it?" The pirate said, "It was my first day with the hook."
That one's okay. I like it. Well, it seems like you started with Australians and we're a pirate. Are there Australian pirates?
What? No, I wasn't doing an Australian thing. Stripes, I just want Chinese food. Don't you understand?
It seems you want that every day.
Whoa. Want it every day until I get it. There's a Chinese food place near me named Panda World. Pretty amazing.
Near enough to walk to or near enough to deliver? Sorry, near enough to walk to, not walk to you.
I'm sorry, I really fell into food fantasy for a couple of moments. Number 8, 2 fish are in a tank. One looks at the other and says, "You man the guns, I'll drive."
What?
2 fish are in a tank, Stripes.
In a tank.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good. That's good. You man the guns.
I saw that goldfish today, actually.
2 soldiers are in a tank, Stripes. One says to the other, "Blah, blah, 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 blah." Oh my god. Number 7. An infinite number of mathematicians walk into a bar. The bartender asks, "What can I get you guys?" The first mathematician says, "I'd like a pint of beer, please." The second one says, I just want half a pint." The third one says, "A quarter pint." And the bartender listens for a while and then stops them. He pours out 2 pints and says, "You know, you guys really ought to know your limits."
What?
Get it?
No, I don't.
It's a math joke, Stripes. We're not going into it. Number 6, a young monk arrives in a monastery where he put to work on a copy. Where he is put to work as a copyist. After a few days, he notices that the monks making copies of the scriptures are all working from copies, not the original.
Wait, is the joke that there are like more measurements than pint, and they shouldn't be just talking in pints?
What?
Was it the joke from the last one? I'm trying to figure it out.
What are you talking about? What did you say just now?
The pint joke.
The pint joke. Stop calling them pints.
I don't think there's any... there are people that pronounce it that way. Why can't I just be one of those people?
Stripes, the next joke about the monks is, he goes to work. He's a guy that makes copies of shit, of scriptures and stuff. He realizes that all the other dudes copying stuff are working from copies and not the original. And then he stops everybody and goes, "Dude, the word is celebrate." And the joke is, they thought it was celibate because since they were working off copies, maybe the R wasn't there. So since, they thought it said celibate, now they're all, taking their oath or vow to not have sex when, they don't need to.
Ooh.
Number 5, a Buddhist walks up to the hot dog vendor and says, "Make me one with everything." If this doesn't work on its own, here's an extension. The vendor gives him a hot dog and the Buddhist gives him a $20 bill. After a moment of waiting, the Buddhist asks, "Where's my change?" The vendor smiles and says, "Ah, change must come from within." I like the addendum. The addendum. Number 40. A devout Catholic man has just boarded a plane, and he's really dreading the long flight ahead. All of a sudden, the Pope boards and takes a seat right next to him. What an honor! The man sits there thinking about how best to conduct himself and what to say, when the Pope takes out a golf pencil and starts doing a crossword puzzle. Wow! His Holiness does crossword puzzles? The man thinks, I hope he asks me for help. That'll be my in for a wonderful conversation. Sure enough, the Pope leans over and asks the man, "Do you know a four-letter word for a woman that ends in UNT?" Oh no, the man is speechless. He sits there, terrified, but trying his best to put on a pensive face for about 30 seconds. The Pope won't speak to me this whole flight if I say the first word that comes to mind. Then it hits him. "Oh," he says, "aunt." "That word is the word you're looking for, aunt, your Holiness." The Pope calmly nods. "Ah, of course," he says. "Do you have an eraser?" Hero cunt. Number 3. What's the difference between a well-dressed man on a unicycle and a poorly dressed man on a bicycle? Attire. You get it, Stripes?
No.
You sure?
Say it again.
What's the difference between a well-dressed man on a unicycle and a poorly dressed man on a bicycle? Attire.
Oh. Okay, because unicycles only have one.
Yes.
That's not.
But,
Wait.
But attire.
Attire. Okay. The wardrobe word. Yes. Okay, I understand.
We should make a series called Realization with Stripes. Realization. Attire. Number 2. Why couldn't the lifeguard save the drowning hippie? He was too far out, man. Oh my god.
That's pretty good.
What? Number 1. Why did the partially blind man fall down a well? He couldn't see that well. Guys, I was gonna read another list. It was gonna be something like, what made you quit as a teacher? But to be completely honest, in just skimming through this, which I did because all of the teachers started making their posts have bullet points in them, which is ridiculous. You know what I mean? A lot of them had like this really lengthy bullet point filled, entries. And a lot of them were just like, I should have just took a corporate job. Like, I'm going to go ahead and search for the word corporate within this list just to see what's up. So somebody says, I taught for English before finally quitting for the corporate sector. So that's somebody saying that they quit to do that. Somebody else says, I've always had this fantasy that I'd be teaching college after I retired or got sick of corporate life. Another one says, when the corporate job offered me 3 times my salary, I quit. Okay. Man, I wish I had stayed at that corporate gig. That's the whole fucking list. So I wasn't going to read something that was outrageously repetitive or redundant. Because when we hear a question like, teachers, what made you quit? What we want is like some crazy story. Here's a crazy story I saw in there because I've naturally started penning through some of my things for the keyword rape. So let me find that one. Here it is. What was the reason you quit teachers? When I walked in on a PE teacher raping a student. A fight ensues. Cops are called. School initially covers it up as teachers fighting, but not over what. The court case has a gag order, so basically no one knew other than a dozen or so people, and he was out on leave and I was not. The union backed him because he had seniority, and they lost anyway, which is good. They lost, thank God. but being basically blackballed just because I was being a good person, because I was the new guy. The court case finishes, he goes to prison. I get blamed by other staff for setting him up because I wanted his job, even though I was a science and chemistry teacher, not exactly the prime candidate for a PE class. Just shows you how fucking cruel and outrageous things are on any level of people with a job. You know what I mean? You expect this kind of bullshit in the government, and definitely at a police, you know, station, maybe with the prosecutors and DAs, and you know what I mean, like in the court system, but not at the school, dude, where they're protecting a motherfucker who was sticking their dick in a little kid, dude. That's really scary to me. Because there are a lot of little kids that are like trying to get with their teachers, and that's one thing. But if we can establish that it's rape, you know what I mean? And this kid is being overpowered, or maybe they're scared, or this person is abusing authority, even if the child considers themselves, you know, consensually consenting to this fucking thing, they are at an age where, dude, you're just susceptible, you're vulnerable, you're malleable mentally. To just be like swayed or coerced into these actions where you don't really know better, because what are you? What have you had as far as exposure to the real world and different experiences and people? You don't know shit. Niggas getting married out of high school and all kind of crap like this. Your experiences are incomplete. They always will be incomplete, but they're just so far from like even having 3 or 4 puzzles as far as puzzle pieces as far as what the puzzle is concerned. It's just a damn shame. Today I learned Kit Kat is produced by Nestle, except in the US where it's made by their competitor Hershey. What?
So wait, do they have like different branches? Is it just a name?
What do you mean their competitor makes their candy?
My sister used to have a best friend, and their dad was a teacher at our school. And he was a really nice guy, but some bitchy girl started telling everyone that he molested her, and he got fired.
Pretty insane.
Yup. So what about this chocolate debacle?
No, people were saying, oh, that's why the other countries get cool chocolate flavors and we don't. Damn, look how hot it is in some places. I'm not sharing screens.
No, we haven't been.
Whatever, it's just me reading jokes. Guys, I love you. Sorry if this list wasn't as jokey as it needed to be. But if you can believe it, it was better than the one that I was going to read before, which means, I'm going to have to start digging deep for lists, because I'm not going to do lists that aren't exceptional. And we did have our moments in this last list, but I do want them to be noteworthy. Special thanks once again, to all of those sexy enough to, be patrons. I really appreciate you. And we need to establish a little bit more something for you guys. You know what I'm talking about?
Can I level a criticism with you about your Patreon?
No.
Okay.
Thank you. So, what we're going to do is, again, establish a little thing more. We had a great stream last night in the Confession Podcast, and I hope that we get the opportunity to do that again tonight. I do not know who the hell may be showing up to see me, so we may have to play it by ear. But if not tonight, then tomorrow night for sure. And I look forward to seeing those of you who can make it. It's going to be at 9. That's when we're going to try to do these on a daily basis, at least during the week. And, it may be question marks during the weekend. But either way, I hope you're having a great day. Or if it's an evening, whatever. Just hope things go well for you. You guys take it easy. And I'll see you soon. Here's hoping you guys get the, oh my god, I thought it was a cock. It's a thumbnail.
Sorry, I wasn't looking.
It's a thumb.
It's a finger. It's just a finger.
Yeah. I was like, oh my god, the cock in the video. No.
Wait, it looks like he has a bug bite. Why is it like kind of pale in the middle?
Love this fucking subreddit. There's a subreddit, guys, called And we could make a video of that right now. Let's do that.